there everyone, welcome to Wrestling Showdown Rewind here on the W3L network. It is week 2 of the road to Wrestlution VII, because as I told you last week, for the next couple of months we are going to be trawling through the archives from 2013 and we're going to be building towards our 10-year anniversary event, Wrestlution VII. For the first time in history, it's going to be made available for you to watch on the W3L Box Office. Sunday, March 21st is the date that gets released. So between now and then, every match here on Rewind is building towards that historic event. It is fantastic. It is definitely one that you do not want to miss. So every single week here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind is the road to Wrestlution VII. And speaking of the box office, I've just mentioned it there. We've got tons of amazing live events on there. You've got compilations of 10-year anniversary documentary as well worth seeing. You can go to W3LBoxOffice.com and view these events via digital download. It is definitely well worth doing, or head on our social media, fill in our survey. You could be in with a chance of winning a year's worth of access to the box office, so check that one out. And obviously we're bringing you classic matches from the archives because we can't bring you live events, at least not just yet. We do have some scheduled, however. These were originally meant to be happening last year. They've obviously been rescheduled multiple times and may well be again, but all original tickets will remain valid, so keep hold of them, you won't miss out. These are the dates we're currently working with. Hopefully we can bring you them sooner rather than later when we do get back up and running with live events. Crafty Connoisseur will come back on board as our live event sponsor. Check them out, their web store is still open as has always been open. They will send stuff straight to your house, so you don't even have to cross the threshold and go out into the cold street. They will send stuff straight to you. You can even do virtual tastings and stuff. Check them out, they've often got offers on their social media. Make a purchase on Crafty, tell them that we said hello, and I know I say this all the time, if you're making a purchase, you can buy a fan support package. Prices begin at $5, so something to suit every budget. And for that money, you'll get cheap ringside tickets, DVDs, you'll get signed posters, and an exclusive video message from a W3L star of your choice. You can pick that up from our website. It just helps you help us to continue until we're able to bring you live events. And of course, if you want to buy anything else, we've got DVDs for sale, naturally, and we've got amazing t-shirts. There is more t-shirts than you can shake a stick at. You will need to clear out some space in your cupboards to fit those t-shirts in. There's amazing designs. Check them out. Make a purchase, wear a t-shirt of your favourite W3L star. And hey, get in touch. Use the hashtag. Tell us what t-shirt you think there should be. Is there a wrestler that you like from W3L that hasn't got a t-shirt yet? Let us know who it is. But all that is still to come. Let's talk about this week's match. Now, the contest we're about to see comes from the 7 Deadly Sins tournament in the February of 2013. Last week we saw Nathan Reynolds and Dickie Dyers from the very same event. This week, however, is non-tournament action. Mike Musso is the W3L Heavyweight Champion, and he has to defend the championship against the Rock and Roll Express Blondie Barratt. Two men that are definitely no strangers to each other over the years. This is one of Barratt's earliest W3L appearances. Would he curtail Musso's championship reign at 7 Deadly Sins? There's only one way for us to find out. Let's get down to ringside as Mike Musso defends the Heavyweight Championship against Blondie Barratt.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce, here with you on Wrestling Showdown Rewind, and as you know, this is week 2 of the road to Wrestlution VII. We are going through the archives of 2013 over the next couple of months, and it will culminate in the final eventual release of Wrestlution VII on the W3L Box Office at the end of March. It is an event long anticipated, and this is one of the starting points to that. This particular contest comes from our 7 Deadly Sins event, the February of 2013, As you can see, the Rock and Roll Express Blondie Barratt on the floor, being called a chicken by the audience, antagonising the fans as he does. He is challenging Mike Musso for the Heavyweight Championship. So the stakes are incredibly high. Of course, the winner will move on throughout the year to defend that Heavyweight Championship, potentially against the winner of 7 Deadly Sins, but as of yet that match has not happened. The final takes place after this contest, but that is another match for another time. So yeah, this is the February 2013 7 Deadly Sins, and of course Wrestlution VII is in November, so quite a way to go for whoever the champion is. Barratt just taking his sweet time. I'm sure you're familiar with Barratt of old. This is exactly the sort of thing that he does in all his time in W3L. Anywhere he goes, the man who's able to start an argument in an empty room, as they say. And the bell finally sounds, and it was going to be Barratt versus Musso. Two men have crossed paths before, just once or twice. In the case of Barratt, we've not actually seen him here on Showdown since April of last year. He competed in their triple threat matches. Musso backs him straight in the ropes and Barratt gives him a shove. Didn't like that at all. And of course, Barratt had initially first appeared for W3L a couple of times in 2007. They hadn't been back until actually the night before 7 Deadly Sins, when he wrestled El Technico at Remedy. And it wouldn't be until 2015 as up the ropes again, and Barratt once again gave Musso a bit of a shove. Yeah, it was 2015 that Barratt became something of a regular. Obviously we've seen what he's done over the years. Musso, on his part though, he's the heavyweight champion. Currently in his 4th reign, believe it or not. And he won the championship back at Wrestlution VI in the September of the previous year, 2012. And he's defended that a number of times. This is his biggest challenge to date. And Barratt with a handful of hair. As he backs Musso at the ropes, referee forcing the break. And Musso gives Barratt a shove. And applies that headlock. Speaking of hair, I'd be remiss not to point out the gorgeous mullet that Blondie Barratt is sporting. Musso blocks and goes to the wrist. Barratt with the reversal and that Irish whip. Musso hops over him, and again ducks under that clothesline and is able to hip toss Blondie Barratt. These days, of course, Barrett's mullet is long gone, but yeah, he was sporting a lovely mullet back in the day, and you can see that as he just takes his time on the floor, clutching his lower back, complaining to literally everybody who will listen. And so this is really the first time these two have properly locked up. They may have encountered each other once or twice before, but if they have, it's maybe only been brief. Oh, and Musso stomping on the fingers at Blondie Barratt. It's going to make things difficult. Barratt likes to utilise the closed fist whenever he can. He's trying to shake it off. Of course, he's going over to somebody in the crowd. Trying to get his hand rubbed better, maybe. Shot to the ribs. The downside, of course, to wrestling someone like Blondie Barratt, he made his debut back in 1977. We're here in 2013 for this match. That is a wealth of experience that people just cannot match. I mean, he knows every trick in the book, and as I say that, Musso turns round and Barratt gets a knee in a very delicate area, and he tried to put his foot up, mistimed it, and an atomic drop in Blondie Barratt. Things have not been going well for him. Musso's got him, but see Barratt trying to crawl the ropes. Now technically he's got hold of him, that should be a break. And Musso just wrenches him away, goes for a cover. And again with that vast experience difference. Musso debuted in 2001. So I mean, he cannot hope to match what Barratt did, considering that Barratt was wrestling I think virtually every single night of the week, or as near as makes no difference. You know, wrestlers that were around in the 70s, maybe in the early 80s as Barratt goes on the cover again, have got experience that guys these days, and certainly back in 2013, just physically cannot hope to match. You matured very quickly, you had to. Imagine wrestling being every night of the week in different halls around the country. It's unthinkable these days. So going for his patented big knee lift. You see immediately goes, and Barratt, presence of mind there. Now imagine this Blondie Barratt, of course. The thing people remember him for is being the tag team partner of Kendo Nagasaki, arguably the greatest masked wrestler of all time here in the UK, although I'm sure fans of Count Bartelli might argue that one. And oh, the referee just being shoved by Barratt. You might have thought there'd be some sort of judgment call there, but obviously not. And that allows Barratt to take the advantage. Musso lost his balance and fell over. We last saw Musso here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind 8 weeks ago. A match from the March of 2009. He took on a good friend and former training partner Spike Anderson. You may remember in that match Anderson had returned to Scotland from Canada, where he currently resides, to make his return for one night only. Oh, hold on. Musso taking a trip to the souvenir stand. And this isn't a hardcore match, this isn't a street fight, this isn't a false get anywhere type affair. This is just Barratt using his surroundings. The referee still applying the count. And again, it's a judgment call, because I guess if you're the referee, you obviously have some freedom of interpretation of the rules, I would think. You can play it stringently, and a minor infraction can end things, or you can give the wrestlers a bit of leeway. Musso bounced off the wall. We're in a leisure centre. These are thick, solid walls, as you can see. Barratt arguing with all and sundry. And he holds up the Heavyweight Championship. It's not his yet. See the legendary John Short sat at ringside. He never has anything good to say about Blondie Barratt. Always claims to be embarrassed by the fact that they're both English. And Barrett's conduct does not become him. I mean, he's certainly a talented man, as we can see, but again, he just seems to enjoy winding people up. Musso crawling back to the ring. And oh, Barratt tried to help with the belt. And as Barratt gets introduced face first in the ring apron. Of course, Musso's the champion's advantage, as Barratt needs to beat him, not the other way around. But Musso, we've seen this over the years as Barratt just reverses things. He doesn't want to win by his opponent being counted out, or him getting counted out for that matter. And Barratt drops down upon Musso. So another thing you need to factor in is considering how long Barrett's been going. He knows exactly where to hit you. I mean, he spent years hitting people, so he knows if he places his knuckles in a specific position, it's going to cause you much more damage than if, you know, he hit you just randomly anywhere. As we can see that being borne out again. I was saying it wasn't a close fist. I mentioned before, of course, Barratt, the former tag team partner of Kendo Nagasaki. I think of all the heinous acts those two perpetrated. And if you go and watch any of their matches, they were, I mean, despised doesn't come close to describing it. They were absolutely hated. And they fought the biggest names in wrestling, and Barratt took a little too long. He's across the shoulders to Musso, and it's only a bad landing from there. Blunt force trauma. Barratt went head first into the canvas. Musso going to be able to do it? Yes, he is. Mike Musso, he took a beating. Blondie Barratt pulled out every trick he could think of, but he took a little too long that top turnbuckle, and Mike Musso hit the blunt force trauma to score the victory. He retains the heavyweight title of 7 Deadly Sins, but will he still be champion come Wrestlution VII? And more importantly, who will he defend the championship against?
Mike Musso overcomes Blondie Barratt to retain the Heavyweight Championship. But would he still be Heavyweight Champion come Wrestlution VII? Remember, 7 Deadly Sins in the February, Wrestlution VII was in the November of 2013. Only time will tell. Make sure you hit subscribe and stick to this channel, and you'll find out in due course. But assuming Musso does retain all the way to Wrestlution VII, who is he going to face? Because as always, the winner of 7 Deadly Sins gets a shot at the heavyweight title in the main event of Wrestlution. Now, last week we saw Nathan Reynolds make short work of Dickie Divers in a quarter-final match of the 7 Deadly Sins tournament. But who would end up winning the whole thing? Well, I can tell you that the finals of 7 Deadly Sins in 2013 came down to Alan Grogan and Nathan Reynolds. Of course, the final is a last man standing match, so let's take you to the closing moments of Grogan versus Reynolds from 7 Deadly Sins.
And Grogan's going to ram into the turnbuckle. And he's making his intentions very clear. Reynolds knows what fate is about to bestow. No, he blocked it. Nathan Reynolds managed to hold on, gets his foot up. He holds on. And Grogan crashing head first into that exposed turnbuckle hook. And look at that uppercut there. Takes him down. And Alan Grogan, he may be busted open. I think Alan Grogan's actually bleeding from the head. Nathan Reynolds has smashed him forehead first in that metal hook, and I think Alan Grogan's been opened up. And yes he is, you can see it. Alan Grogan is bleeding from the head. The sight of blood can do strange things to a man. He's either going to spin him on, it's running down his head here. He's either going to be fired up or this is going to take him out of the game. That's horrible. Nathan Reynolds split open. I'm sure it was inadvertent, but the fact of the matter is, he busted him open. The count's getting high here. That's it! Alan Grogan failed to stand up. The bell sounds. And Nathan Reynolds wins the last man standing match. He wins 7 Deadly Sins 2013.
Nathan Reynolds wins 7 Deadly Sins in 2013. If you want to see the entirety of that match, pick up the 10-year documentary DVDs from the bonus matches on it, available via digital download as well. But get hold of that. Nathan Reynolds gets himself a shot in the main event of Wrestlution VII. He's got a few months to get there. It's going to be Reynolds versus Musso. Again, stick with us here every single week on the road to Wrestlution VII and you will find out. Now, as I said, we are building towards the box office release of Wrestlution VII on March the 21st. You should check out the box office if you haven't already. There's full live events, compilations, a documentary, all of which comes highly recommended. And again, you can watch Wrestlution VII when it gets released via digital download, and we are building to it week after week. So it's a good reason for you to have subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. And this is just, of course, tide over until we can bring you cool live wrestling. We want to bring you live wrestling, but we can't obviously right now. These are the dates we currently have scheduled. They're all subject to change, but original tickets remain valid. When we're back up and running, Crafty Connoisseur will return as our live event sponsor. Thank you so much to them. If you've got a couple of shekels to throw in our direction, pick up a fan support package. Price begin at $5 helps you help us to keep going until we can bring you live pro wrestling. And of course, get a t-shirt. Tons of amazing designs, well worth getting, high quality. Trust me in this, I've got a number of them. Well worth getting. Show your support for your favourite W3L stars. The t-shirts, DVDs, the fan support package, all of these are available from our website. It's W3LWrestling.com. Make your purchase and send them to the mailing list while you are at it. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us on Instagram, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and you really should, because again we are powering our way through the road to Wrestlution VII. And make your plans to be back here next week, because as always, ladies and gentlemen, we will have another step closer to the eventual release of Wrestlution VII. Another huge match. It is one you do not want to miss. So make your plans and join me back here in 7 days' time for another step on the road to Wrestlution here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind.